Hey, hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing tired.
Yeah.
Catching up on, I think this is the furthest I've been along on grading in a while.
That's good. That's
So
good.
I think I'm a couple grades ahead of where I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I got more done today.
Yeah. So I got a chance to observe you yesterday.
Of course, you have to come in at the most inopportune time.
Like it looks good though. Like I mean, you know, as you know, per usual, we got places that we can
Yeah.
work on, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary or like anything wrong with it.
You never come in on lab days.
I do come in on lab days.
No.
I came in on the lab day last time when they were working with the battery and building the circuit. That was
When
last
did you
week.
come in?
That was last week.
Oh, conductors and insulators?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, you missed the fun labs.
Okay. Fair enough.
We did our circuit puzzles this week, where they actually built circuits, not just conductors and insulators. It was fun. It was good.
Cool. So your most recent action step has been to
Do it again.
Yeah.
And I don't remember that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, so do it again was technically you mastered that one a while back. I
Yeah.
just forgot to move it over to master it. But your most recent one was make sure all students participate, cold call on students, implement brief turn-in talks, avoid whole class choral response. Yep.
Which I'm still doing horrible at.
Yep. No. Give a warning when students do not meet expectations and follow up with consequence for repeated offense. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Where do you well, I just heard you say you think you are doing horrible, right? Here's what I saw. I noticed that the number of interruptions has decreased significantly, right? So you're down to maybe one or two when I'm in the room, and you used to be up around 10, right? In just a 15 to 20 minute observation, right?
I really do.
Right, and I know it.
I understand the reason why you're not wanting me to do them, and I agree with that reason.
Exactly, and it's not that I never want you to do choral response again. It's
Oh yeah,
more
no.
So let's rein in on the behavior, and then we can move back to choral response, right? And so the fact that the number of interruptions, classroom interruptions, has decreased, and the fact that you have decreased the amount of times that you have to reset expectations, that tells me that it's working.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So
No, I agree.
I don't know if you can see that part,
I
but
do.
that's what I've seen the last 2 or 3 times that I've been in here. So this has been your action step for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
And I'm over the last couple weeks, I've been in here 2 or 3 times at least, and that's what I've seen. You know what I mean? Since we, especially since we practiced it last week too, with your internalization. I think you really have slowed down and thought about what you need to say.
I'm really bummed that you didn't come see that.
Yeah, no.
Because the lesson I feel was a total flop.
Okay. Yeah.
And I really could have used some feedback on that one.
I apologize for not making it in that day.
No, I mean things happen.
Yeah,
it's school.
But I think overall, I saw enough evidence to move this action step to master because even though you still have a couple of interruptions here and there, one that's to be expected sometimes, and then
they're
two,
5th graders.
Right, exactly. And then 2,
it's within a reasonable.
And you know how to deal with it now. You know what I mean? And so I'm seeing a lot of evidence of how you deal with that. And so what do you think is the impact of being able to move forward now with the fewer interruptions and having to reset the expectations less?
It makes the flow of class a lot easier. It's making my actual lesson time almost meet what it's supposed to be meeting.
I have one small piece of feedback about that part later.
Yeah, I still go off on some tangents, but
other than that,
getting closer to the 15-20 minutes that lesson is supposed to be.
So in other words, your pacing is falling in order. Do you feel students are able to grasp the material better, or do you feel you don't have to do as much reining in?
I don't have to do as much training.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't necessarily say that they grasp the material better. But
So like we're gonna like and we're gonna your next action step is like based off of like them grasping the material better, right?
Yeah.
And so I just like want to dive a little bit deeper into aggressive monitoring.
Yep.
And so like I noticed yesterday when I was in here that like you like have the beginnings of it, you know what I mean? So like what I saw yesterday was
and I understand aggressive monitoring. I aggressively monitor the students, I just don't do it effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And coming up with a seating chart where I can have a flow for my aggressive monitoring and still manage behavior is where I've been struggling.
Gotcha.
Because I know you're supposed to hit the highs first so that way you can spend more time with the lows. Ideally.
Well, so here's something that like that might be helpful too. Is like you don't it can be the highest, but like generally what we like to see is the fastest riders. So if you prioritize the fastest riders, then that gives the students who need a little bit more processing time to process what they need, and then you can hit those high flyers really quickly, right? So what I saw yesterday was like when you were monitoring, you were like basically going to each table, like putting a check mark on papers of students that got it right? And so like students know, like they were getting that feedback, but then like there were a couple of papers that I saw where students didn't have feedback, but then they also had the incorrect answers, right? And so thinking about that, right, you already named a couple of things that like goes into aggressive monitoring. So like having the correct seating chart or having a seating chart, right? And then also like using that seating chart to create like a path for you to be able to move throughout the classroom, right? And then you also talked about like the high, but like we're gonna shift that to focusing on the fastest riders. And then like you even have that piece of like letting kids know how to do what the feedback means. We just want to fine tune all of these things, right? And so and then another thing that we can do is use a seating chart to collect data, right? And so that data will actually help you to see like once you step back out of this aggressive monitoring, what can you use that data for?
I used to build small groups and reteach.
You can do small groups, reteach, or you can like and in the moment reteach. Like you can say, I'm noticing that like a lot of students are mislabeling a closed circuit. So like let's go back and talk about that. Right, and so like I think those are like all the keys, which is great, right? So it's not about a lot of like knowledge building or skill building that we have to build. It's just like more so fine tuning those things, which is really
creating a flow in which I can implement all those isolated pieces that I already know how to do.
Exactly. And so I think the biggest thing is going to be like helping you create that path, and that was one of the things that I heard you mention, say that like that is going to be the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Do you already have your seating charts?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pull those out.
I'm gonna find what clipboard it's on. It's on one of my clipboards somewhere. Oh, of course. It's all the way down the bottom. Underneath these quizzes that I need a hand back.
So based off that, like your action step is just going to be to like implement aggressive monitoring using the things that we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
And so you're going to you already got your seating chart. So what we're going to do with the seating chart is like create your path.
Yeah. And we can go ahead and do that with these, but I'm gonna have to redo it over break because I'm changing my seating chart over break.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've got some students that I need to separate from behavior contracts.
Cool.
A student that's changing colleges, and I've moved some people around since some students have withdrawn. So a lot of changes in 5th grade.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
But we'll focus on UNT because UNT is the one that's changed the least. And there we go.
Cool. Okay. So, just go ahead and real quickly just identify like your fastest riders. Who do you think are your fastest riders?
Those are already changed.
Yeah, for sure.
And put a star by him, even though he's changing colleges, and he's a fast rider because he doesn't actually do it and just circles things.
Gotcha. So like that's
He doesn't speak English
Gotcha.
and is not terribly motivated to learn.
Gotcha. So based off of like your fastest riders, like what do you think is the best path to take?
Probably straight at the center, come back around, down over here, loop back around over here, and then I can come back and basically go over the same thing, only this time hit the slower riders.
Hit the slower riders. Yep. So you can basically do like 2 laps based off like your fastest riders, then your slower riders. So you'll take this lap first, and like you can just go ahead and draw it out.
I probably come with this backside. And Angela's probably.
That's actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that hits everybody pretty quickly.
That's lap 1. For lap 2. Lap 2, I'd probably just carry it along like this. Come back down like that. And basically just start it over.
And so like there's also a plus here too, right? Even as you're going along this lap, like if you see like what you consider your slowest riders, like if you see that they're like actually, you know, giving you something, you can always just like give them feedback in the moment too, you know. Another thing that I found hard about this was like students asking questions or like giving them lengthy feedback, right? Like that was difficult for me when I first started to implement.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty good about that.
Okay, so you feel like you got that part.
Yeah, the ones that I end up giving lengthy feedback to are usually my mid tiers, the ones that more or less understand it, and then they kind of get confused somewhere in the middle.
Right.
So
the thing that I like that also is helpful is like your key, right? So knowing what your feedback means, right? And so you can be as specific as you want to be on the board, and so you can have 2 to 3. I would like keep it 2 to 3 symbols. You know what I mean? And say like this check mark means you're good, continue to work, right? Like you didn't make any mistakes. Like maybe a triangle means that like it's something specifically related to that task for the day, not just that you got it wrong, but like what could be a piece that you missed, right? So like that goes into like how we think about predicting student misconceptions, right? And so thinking about like what could students get wrong here. Oh, like I'm gonna make that a triangle and say like if you got a triangle, that means you got you labeled this as like you mislabeled a switch or something like that. You know what I mean? Something along those lines. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And so like the more specific your key is, the easier it'll be for you to be able to like give feedback quickly, and so like that helps as well.
And I find in most of my classes, they're most probably 80-90% of the students in each class. When they get a wrong answer, the correct answer was usually their second choice. And so usually it's just one correction. There's maybe 3 students in each class that continuously get it wrong.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
most of them usually pick it up after that X.
Yeah, for sure. What are you? Would you be able to implement this in the plan tomorrow?
That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay, what's up?
So, lesson plans tomorrow was going to be more diagramming circuits, and then Friday was going to be a topic assessment. I was thinking Friday before a week-long break for topic assessment. I'm probably gonna have lots of students out that day.
Yeah.
So I was going to give it tomorrow instead, and then on Friday do some sort of reteach for the areas that I can see based on the topic assessment, or honestly, not even look at the topic assessment because it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I've not been happy with the topic assessments, and we've had this discussion before.
I think, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's actually like a good way to think about it. Is what you originally planned tomorrow on the topic assessment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
like, will
no.
students be successful if they like if you don't do the lesson tomorrow? Will students be successful on the topic assessment?
they will be no less successful than if I gave it on Friday.
Okay. So I think that is a good way to start. You know what I mean? Like, just go ahead and give your topic assessment tomorrow, and then like Friday you can do a reteach. And then when you do the reteach, you could implement it there from like their at-bat questions, right? So like after you do the reteach, they need some practice to be able to like go back and implement what you did.
Because I don't want to give it on Friday and have 7-8 students have to take it on the Monday that we get back. And when Monday and Tuesday is set aside for a quick review over all of the standard. So Wednesday when we get back, we can give the unit test. I don't want them to miss that review.
do that. I like that idea. And then so Friday, we'll look for it on Friday. Have you? So then.
And then I'll be done with reporting category 2.
Yeah. So then let's think about.
So Friday would be when I wouldn't be able to implement it.
Yeah. So on Friday, what you can do is just think about when you go to look at your data. Think about like, are you going to do a model or are you going to do like guided discourse to have the kids pull it out? You can base that off of like I would say if a good number of your kids got most of the questions correct, and there's a specific part that's something that you want to focus on.
I've got a good feeling that'll end up a lot like
the last one.
Not the last one, but Forms of Energy, the one where I had 81 students get 100.
Yeah. Okay. So if you
that this one was terribly bad.
Yeah. So
that's pretty decent.
If you have students, if you have a majority of your students like really understand the material, like a guided discourse will work, right? You can do like a show call. You can show a couple of students work, or like however you want to do it. Is that works really well, and you can have students spot out like what's the correct answer, why, go on, and so forth, and then like just have them practice a couple of more problems, and then you can go from there. And so I'll look for it. During your independent practice, or like the opportunities for students to practice after the reteach on Friday. Yeah. Does it make sense? Cool. Do you have any questions?
No, pretty basic.
Cool. All right, man.
Just that conversation I need to have about changing my lesson plan a little bit.
Yeah. Cool.
because I think that'll work out better.
Yeah, I think like just like I'm okay with that. Just
Like-
go ahead.
I was looking over the unit assessment, and the circuit questions on the unit assessment aren't really that reflective of the topic assessment.
Yeah, I think that was the major issue that I had with the topic assessment.